Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. Another show, I think our 97th. We've got a little bit to talk about. I've got my mate James of James Johnstone, his football channel, joining me tonight to talk about that disappointing result against an absolutely abysmal Man United side. But anyway, what does that say about us? We've got that. We'll talk a little bit about the Champions League. Dead rubber, we can say. We can actually relax an Arsenal game for once. But knowing our lot, it won't be too relaxing come Wednesday night. But we've got that to talk about and a lot more. But of course, before all of that, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show. Tonight I've got the Arsenal RZA. Wu-Tang Clan have just released a new song, AI generated video. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I think it's been influenced by this man, the Arsenal RZA. More Riz than Tottenham and Arsenal have got trophies combined. How you doing, James Johnson? How you doing?
Oh, thank you very much. After that intro, much better than I am yesterday. So yes, no, thank you. And I'll have to listen to that. I did not know they've got a new song. Is the song bad or is it?
It's
Does it
okay.
hold up?
It's okay.
Good,
It's just
good.
got a
No, I'll
weird.
take that.
It's just got a weird AI video to it. It's like,
Okay.
why have they done that? They could have just got an actor in and done it. But you'll see when
Yeah.
you see it, you'll realise.
I'll check that out as soon as this. As soon as we've wrapped up, I will have a look at
Yeah,
that straight away.
yeah, it's not bad. But no, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Obviously, we'll get into it. We're not going to go through it forensically what happened yesterday. So we'll start with the positives, shall we? And the positives is that we didn't lose to probably one of the worst Man United sides we've seen in living memory. And that's pretty much the positives. The negatives is that we didn't beat one of the most abysmally worst Man United sides in living memory. When the everything was there, we played on Tuesday, they played on Thursday. So there was less days to recover. We were coming off the back of a brilliant win over in Holland, against PSV, and they went through it with their trip to San Sebastian, to draw with Real Sociedad. But James, what's your just initial thoughts on just how you feel after that and that performance? Is it one of disappointment, obviously, but just it just feels for me we keep seeing this story over and over again, where it's just so much possession and domination of games, and we're not making it count, and it's cost us. It's been the reason we're in the situation we are in the table. But what's your thoughts just generally on yesterday's performance and where we go from here?
Yeah, for me, it just it just compounds what has been a feeling that you've had for such a while this season. In that, just can we end it as soon as possible, because it's just a dire watch, isn't it? I mean, okay, we pull it back, which is amazing, but it just, I just felt so dejected after, because the company that I was with, obviously age-wise, that some of them have got nearly 40, 45, maybe 50 years on me.
Yeah.
And I said to them, look, I can only go based off the Premier League, because when I was born in 91, so I was just before, but I said, I only know the Prem.
Yeah.
And I went, to me, I haven't seen a Man United side as bad as that.
Yeah, they were shocking.
And a lot of them agreed with me. But then when I spoke to my father afterwards, he told me, no, the side that Dennis Law relegated when he was at City, and he said they were worse than this one just. But he said, in terms of you and what you've said Premier League wise, He
Yeah.
said, "You're spot on." And I went, "Well, do you know what winds me up even more is that I went, they should feel unlucky that they didn't win.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
They
how it
they
comes
they
out.
they they were so much better than us in that second half.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of flack come David Raya's way,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, do you know what? Yeah, you can slate him for the goal, rightfully so. But if it wasn't
Yeah.
for him yesterday, we'd have got
Yeah.
battered by about 4 goals
Yeah.
because he stepped up big time to help us even get a point yesterday. But there's just so many of them, Mike, and I know there's that clip going around of Martin Odegaard in the second half where he just tries and tries to take people on, and then he gets pushed down it, well, semi-pushed, and he falls on the floor quite
Yeah.
badly, and we
Yeah.
don't get anything for it. And everyone just is like, "Oh, look at this with Odegaard! Look, he looks ridiculous." And I'm like, "No one's moving for it." I'm like, "What else is he
Yeah.
going to do? What
Exactly.
what option is there?" And you
Yeah.
can go all you like about injuries and lack of actual players in these positions and etc etc. But when you don't create as well, what are you expecting?
Yeah.
Because it's gone back to that you know the horseshoe of shame or whatever everybody called the donut of shame or whatever everyone was calling it. And there were times where I felt like Arsenal did have somewhat of a plan B, but now it's gone back to no, it's plan A, but we're just different players
Yeah.
because it's really like for like the substitutions. No, there's nobody, is a real game changer off that bench. There's no one that comes on and you go, oh, blimey, look, what's he going to do? They're just all sort of the same.
Yeah, it's an autonomous, isn't it? I mean, I know we're not really going through it properly, but even the goal, the goal comes from our goal comes from Timber just deciding to take people on and dribble rather than do the pass and try and and make a run and then someone finds him, with a pass sort of thing. He just decides to just go and try and break the low block himself, and I think that's where we haven't got players like that, and I think that's in the summer we have to address that. We have to get somebody in because we're talking about the forwards and everything and getting number 9 and everything, and it's gone. I think it's gone beyond the point where it isn't just a 9. I think if you had a top striker in there, we would still have problems creating chances. He basically will be feeding on scraps because there's just no creativity there in that final third. There's just nothing there at all. It's just get it out wide eventually and then swing a crossing and try and get a set piece. The amount of times I just saw Trossard get into a position out wide and he's just smashing it against someone's legs just so he can just get the corner. It's like I'm not even going to try and drop a shoulder or anything. I'm just going to smash it against matey's legs and just get a corner, and then we'll just do that. And to be fair, in the press conference, in the post presser, the one that Arteta actually sat in and he didn't walk off in a huff, they asked him about the creativity, and he said about low blocks and everything, and he said, yeah, well, we kind of focus on set pieces to get past that, so he's not thinking of anyone doing anything, to break the lines or to commit players to create a gap. He just said, all right, we're just going to focus on set pieces because that's one way to get around it. Can understand that, but you're just thinking, teams aren't going to adjust and make plans, and that's exactly what's happened. We haven't scored a set piece goal in God knows how long, James. So
Fulham, weren't it? Saliba.
Yeah.
But that's like you said there, with like more creative players, or buying a striker and everything else. I do believe, and I hate saying it because, in a way, you're going to get tarnished with the negativity brush by saying it. But I feel a lot of this individual endeavour that some of these players had's been coached out of them. Because if even Arteta's standing there and if Arteta's coming out there and say, because mate, I blanked it all. I wanted to get straight home, so I left where I was. I didn't watch any of the after game, and I just like get home. And for him to come out and say that we play for the set piece, I'm like, well, what you're not encouraging them to try and take someone on? Why don't you try and beat 1 or 2 men, drag somebody out? That might leave some space in the middle. You slot it. It just doesn't add up because, like you said, the set pieces goals have dried up, since Fulham away, and that was January maybe,
Yeah, I think so.
or even
Yeah.
before. I'm just I'm just baffled by him coming out and saying that, and I mean it serves as another game plan for more teams that, we talk about that we do all this data analysis stuff now, and maybe it's not as bad as the Emery days where the players all got given individual USB sticks and DVDs to watch and everything else like that. But I
Yeah.
know they do a lot of video work and everything else like that. But I think if you're a team that's playing Arsenal now, you've had the West Ham game, you've had this game. Hell, if you want to even roll it back, go watch the Inter Milan one.
Yeah, you got lots of
Pack
data,
it,
haven't you?
well, pack it
Yeah,
with 5 and hit us
yeah,
on the counter, because we'll pass ourselves to death. We'll
yeah,
we'll overcommit, we'll pass ourselves to death, and you can just slap us on the counter attack.
yeah. You're right. The last it was Fulham game. Sorry, was 8th of December.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
That was the last set piece goal we scored in the league. Yeah, and like you said, it's just mental. Just got a couple of chat. Hente's with us. How you doing, Hente? Great to see. Great to have you with us. Says, what was that Wu-Tang Clan? I think he's probably caught the end of our chat. He said the 7-1 was a one-off. Yeah, I think it's to do with the way PSV played. I think the teams that have come out at us, obviously you look at City as well. Look at how that ended up. And I just think any team that we play against who's set up that way, West Ham, Everton, Newcastle, Fulham to a certain extent, we just struggle against them. And it's been that way for the last 2 years, hasn't it, really? And it's down to, Arteta to earn his money. He's getting well paid. He needs to sort it out. It's just getting ridiculous. Obviously, Neil's in the chat as well. How you doing, Neil? Saying everyone's well, and then he's saying amazing he's still awake because he obviously goes early because of where he is. But great to have you with us. You think about Arteta as well with the creativity, James. He's played with obviously Santi Cazorla, Jack Wilshere. Was he in the same team as Rosicky?
Mesut Ozil.
Yeah. Ozil. It's almost like, don't you know what how key these players can be in these certain situations, and it's like he's just like gone this system, system above all. It has to be that and nothing else. And yeah, I think he's killed the individuality of certain players. Obviously, players like Odegaard and Martinelli, as we can see. Who we've seen them take the game by the scruff of the neck and just run, just run through people, like no one's business. Now he's got self-doubt. He's making the wrong decisions and everything. I just think we're at a point now where a lot of the feel good, a lot of the good work that we've done, or what Arteta's done over the last couple of years, it's all coming home to roost now. I think a lot of people already are saying, you speak to some Arsenal fans, see some discourses in some areas saying, well, this is it. If he doesn't do anything, if we finish second again, and we don't win the Champions League, which we don't think we're going to win, he needs to go. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think he needs to go, or do you think he's going to get another shot?
So, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't give him another go, but I believe the club are going to.
Yeah.
So for me, I can't sit here and say that I'm not going to back it, because that's just not how I am. So I will, and I'm not one of these people that want their own team to lose just to prove a point. I'd never want that. I'm not that stupid at all. So I will see what we do. I mean, the appointment of the sporting director is massive. He's coming in with a lot of pedigree in terms of, getting good players on a good budget. The only real dud that he had was Felix, but then he still sold him for quite a fair bit. Okay, they didn't make all of it back, but yeah, and he's been very good at selling players as well for good money.
One thing also with Felix is he's also managed to get him out the door on several occasions, hasn't he? Which is something that we've always struggled to do. Look how long it took to get Eddie out. Look how long it took us to get Reece Nelson out. At least with this guy, it looks like he's got the way to shift people on and make
Exactly.
spaces. But do you think, like, Berta as well? I mean, there's been a lot of talk at the beginning that Arteta was going to be, fundamental in terms of who it's going to be and who's going to be in the post. And a lot of people were talking about, obviously, the guy from Real Sociedad, Alabi, and he stepped away from it. He's going to have a break. And then it's kind of transpired that it was Richard Garlick and Tim Lewis who were all over this, really. So it may be Arteta taking the back seat. Does it seem to you that the club are trying to get ready themselves for maybe, an Arteta going next season if things don't work out? Maybe obviously using his contacts to maybe get somebody in. Obviously, he's Italian. People putting two and two together. Maybe going after your guy over in Inter, Inzaghi. Maybe after the season after next, if it all goes to pot. People are crazy saying Simeone. That's not going to happen. He's getting paid 30 million. Getting paid 30 million over there. Yeah. But do you think it's kind of the club, taking a little bit of that authority that he supposedly has and putting this guy in, and then basically saying what we get in, you're going to give us your list of what you want. The data people are going to give you a list of who we should go for, and he's going to be going out there to get one of those, and you have to work with it. But do you think it's going to be that way, or do you think there may be some bumps in the road, or do we just have to wait and see what happens in the summer? Because for me, I don't think there's any excuses anymore in terms of getting the names in and then making sure their names are in early. And then next season we have to win one of the big ones. If we don't, then I think he's got to go. But what's your thoughts on the whole the appointment and how that's gone about?
Yeah, I think they probably wanted Alabe, Mike, because his name was popping up like no tomorrow. He was the main one that just kept constantly coming up. And I believe that he said about when he finishes, he'd like to take a break. So that probably put the dampers on everything. Maybe Arsenal were trying to convince him, look, don't take your break. Come here, keep working, etc., etc. And he's gone, no, I want to have my time out. And so that's maybe pushed Arsenal in a different direction. But like we said, this guy's got a very, very good pedigree, even from before he was at Atletico Madrid with Genoa and I can't remember what other Italian club that he was at.
Is it Parma?
Yeah, I think it's Parma. Yeah. And he's got a very good pedigree with all three of them clubs and what have you. And also, I think like you, they're not completely, unreceptive to the fact that, in the end, what killed Arsene Wenger and also what ultimately killed Unai Emery wasn't just the poor results. It was the fact that these seats started to dwindle. They started to become more and more empty.
Yeah.
And if you look at that West Ham game,
yeah,
83rd minute, that place was barren. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this game's not over. We've seen what we can be like with scoring late goals and changing things and everything else over the years.
Yeah.
But yet every single person, apart from the main core that do stay there all the way, had gone, blah, we ain't pulling this back. And that the empty seats is what eventually trumps everything overall. And I think a lot of people are starting to turn. And it's somewhat sad because, this is a manager that ideally, as an ex-player, even as an ex-captain, we all want to do well than maybe someone that's completely off the cuff and what have you.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, you've got a brand new novice to the league, and they signed Chiesa only, and they're 16 points clear.
Yeah.
And it's only March. It's a disgraceful season. I mean, I said to all them yesterday, I said, you can't tell me the league's bad because how the hell are we still second place?
Yeah.
I said, if it was competitive, I said it's embarrassing that we've still got this buffer that we're second.
Yeah.
Because we're nowhere near the levels that I've seen of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, you had some people that, especially that first season, said that it was a fluke. And then it was like, well, it's clearly not a fluke for that second one last year. But when you're looking at it now, you sort of are looking at it going, well, do you know what? Maybe some of these people were right, because we just look so off it. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of people have bemoaned about the injuries and everything, Mike. But when we lost to Newcastle after that great Gordon cross and that Isak header, we were 9 points off Liverpool then,
yeah,
and then we had everybody. So I just think from the start, really, this season, for whatever reason, we've just not been at it at all. And I
yeah,
think that can happen if we've seen it with Liverpool as well. When
yeah,
you try and run this Man City into the ground, because
yeah,
you're not just dealing with a playing superpower, you're dealing with a financial one. You know,
yeah,
they did nearly 200 million in the January just gone,
yeah,
and they're clutching onto fifth, aren't they? Like you've got there with the table,
yeah,
and it's just it's going to do you. You probably get 2 seasons at having a go at it, and then your third you drop off, and then you
yeah.
got
The
to
drop
pick
off.
yourselves back. Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
dust yourselves off and try and go again.
yeah,
And we haven't necessarily. We may not drop off in terms of place in the league, but we've definitely dropped off in terms of what we can and can't do. And yeah, Hente puts this up here as well with the Raya stats, and I saw his tweet earlier today, and yeah, he's spot on. The amount of work that we're having to do, because again,
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
defend from
Yeah,
we defend from the front.
yeah,
So without Havertz, without Odegaard, they're not all committing into a 3-man press anymore. You saw it yesterday, even Odegaard. I know a lot of people go on about the way he gesticulates his hand and he's constantly wiping snot either in his hair or on his
yeah,
shirts
yeah,
or whatever. But he was going yesterday, to Nanweri, to Moreno. He's like, come with me. He's like, why am I the only one on my own trying to get this ball back? He's like,
yeah,
we got
yeah,
to do
yeah,
it as
yeah,
a collective.
yeah,
And it's just an amalgamation of stuff that's really, really gone wrong. I mean, I go back, Mike, and I hate it because people just go, oh, it's always recruitment with you. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a cliche, but if you fail to prepare to fail. And
yeah.
I look at this summer window.
It wrecked us.
Yeah, I just think you completely approach that summer window
Yeah,
terribly. I mean, Calafiori, as much as he's a maverick and he can score some fantastic goals, he's never once looked like he can settle himself as a first team left back in this side.
yeah,
Moreno is now being deployed as a makeshift centre forward because he can't settle himself in as a makeshift midfielder in this side. You got Neto, who on his debut nearly gets sent off because he can't remember where the area is. And you've got Raheem Sterling, who, I'm sorry, Mike, but you know how I feel about
yeah,
Reece Nelson. He
yeah,
makes me
yeah,
miss Reece
yeah,
Nelson. He's
yeah,
so
yeah,
bad, I
yeah,
miss
yeah,
Reece Nelson.
yeah, yeah.
And I've never rated Reece Nelson ever.
Mental, isn't it? Mental.
Yeah,
The summer is absolutely wrecked us. You look at it now, and the apparent noises were that Eddie didn't want Marino, didn't want Calafiori, and that could be the reason why it took so long to complete those deals. We completely gutted the creative side of things in terms of the squad. We got rid of, obviously, as Nelson, you said, Smith Rowe and Vieira, and then obviously you got rid of Eddie. We didn't replace those, and it's unforgivable. Everything that you said about the effort that we've made going up against City for the last 2 seasons. Yeah, massive effort, especially the second one. You could see how wrecked the players were at the end of that. To put that effort in, to go twice against them, and to break all the records we did, and then to compound that, to not get the support that these players needed, just a couple of pieces, which you all know what they were, just a couple of additions, or we would have really went again. And we've messed everything up so much, especially the summer and January. It's not going to be an easy fix now, is it? Because there's going to be so many people going. If we, and we've got, obviously Tierney's going, and Jorginho Party could go, unless Party extends for a year, whatever he's getting offered. Zinchenko. So now it looks like it's a semi rebuild again. Instead of being 2 bits away, 2 pieces away from getting there, we're now 5 or 6, 7, and unless this guy Berta is some sort of magician, I don't know how he's going to be able to do all that with the money that we've kind of got to play with. And unless that means getting rid of a couple more players, which we're talking about, and then that just means we're kind of going to be in the same place again when it comes to, squad numbers. What I think it's 19, 20 we were at, probably, or 25.
This as well, Mike, bothers me, is that, he openly bragged about how close he got with the smallest squad. And then in the January, he's moaning that he hasn't got, he's like, I need more option. And it's like, well, hang on a sec, Mikel. 6 months ago, you're telling me how great it is that you've got, all my players should be able, if you're a top player, you play 3 games in a week.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, you're contradicting your own stuff that you've told me before.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's been doing that a lot. He's been getting caught out, saying that we're at phase 4, between 4 and 5.
Yeah, all that. I saw when he walks off, because obviously that clip's come up, and I know that guy at Sky can be a bit baity with people. I know he loves it. But at the same point, I'm just like, well, yeah, but sometimes you answer, you give responses that dictate those sort of questions being asked to you.
Yeah, he set himself up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it reminds me of Ten Hag. And I hate saying that, but I'm like, they used to go, give Ten Hag a bit of give Ten Hag a little bit of string, and he'll nibble on that. And then we've got stuff for about a week, 2 weeks, just everyone just taking the mick out of him, going, "Have you seen what he said to this? Have you seen?" Yeah. I mean, earlier in the year, when they said about, you've been there 6 years and you've only won the 1 trophy, and he said, actually, he went, no, Community Shields. I went, I was like, no, you can't. I was like, Mikel, you can't count your Community Shields as well, mate. I'm like, you're going to chuck your Emirates Cups in there as well. Like, bloody hell. I'm like, you can't be doing this.
Mate, yeah. It's like what they used to do with Ten Hag, didn't they? He used to say something, and then they would just repeat it to him. Oh, yeah, you said this a couple of weeks ago. He's like, no, you didn't. I said, yeah, no, you did. You did say that, Eric. And he goes, no, I didn't. No, you did. And that's what they're just doing, just repeating what he said. Saying stuff like, the title race over, and then he said, over my dead body. It doesn't have to say stuff like that. Just say, we'll keep going until it's mathematically, impossible to win it. But he's coming out with nonsense like that, and then he's walking off. He had the same interview with the guy that Peter Davison before the game, when they trained at the Emirates. He was there talking to him, and he was all pally and everything like that. And that's when he said, "Oh, yeah, we're between phases 4 and 5, and the main thing is we need to be competing in the Champions League, regularly, and we need to have unity in the squad, and then we need to be close." So again, he's moving the goalposts. He's doing what Arsenal used to do. Next season, we've got to go to the next level. What is the next level? Well, it's the next level, isn't it? No, Arsenal. What is the next level? Is that winning a trophy? And then he just puts himself in trouble by saying stuff, and he looks like he's doing the same thing. Got this from Neil. We've been lucky.
Talking in riddles, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the pressure, mate. The pressure's getting on him. I think he knows that. I've said it to you guys in the chat and everything. We're in the end game now. Next season, we need to win something. He needs to win something.
The minute he gets grey hair, we'll panic.
Yeah, yeah. Because at that point, I know they're talking about getting Saliba a new contract, and obviously Saka's going to be one as well that they need to talk about. If we're in the same point next year, and we're this way off, the key thing for me is obviously the Champions League. We'll get through. We'll play Madrid or one of the Madrids, and if that goes the way form and history and pedigree says it does, we'll get knocked out. And what you said about the fans not coming in, how many games we'll have left in the Emirates? We'll pull out 5 or 6 games, maybe 5 to 4 games left, because obviously we've got 10 left now. So they're about those 3 or 4 home games. You're going to see a lot of seats, mate. You're going to see a lot of empty seats.
Mike, have you seen how many are up for Wednesday?
Yeah,
I've been offered corporate for Wednesday for a ridiculously cheap price.
Wow. Okay.
I nearly considered it. And that's purely for the fact that I'm like, that meal on its own's worth more than that.
Yeah. They always said we have been lucky. We have been lucky with key injuries, yes, and suspensions. But some of those injuries are because we didn't strengthen the squad for effective rotation. Yeah, because he's run them into the ground as well, and it's just that it's that and it's just compounded on everything else. We just haven't had the numbers in the squad to compensate for that. And as you said, he's so happy to have the smallest squad in the league, with the extra fixtures and the fact that he had to take the League Cup seriously. He had to take everything seriously, and we did. So that would have meant extra games, and it's all he's broken the back of a lot of players, man. It's just ridiculous. And another from Neil. Yeah, that's desperate talking about the Shields. He's won one trophy. Yep. Back to micromanaging and constraining expression of potentially because you don't enjoy games anymore. You don't really enjoy watching us play football anymore. The PSV one was so great because it was just like, okay, there's goals, and it was just laughable to see the way PSV were defending. It was just absolutely insane. But it's I think definitely we're going to be at a crossroads, mate. I'm you've got the Arteta stands out there who are putting it all on the board, and Pogmol saying it's their fault. Even the free kick yesterday, saying it was 11 yards and how we got cheated out of that and all that nonsense. But for me, it's all on him. He's loves to say he's got the authority and got the controls everything when it suits him. And then when things start to go wrong, people come out and rush and say, well, no, it's not him. He hasn't got the power. It's the board and stuff. And then people bring out articles where it says that he has the biggest say in the recruitment, in terms of who we get in. And apparently he's been offered multiple names of players who could have helped out or come in, from abroad on loan, but he was like, no, I don't want him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I mean, you say that as well. Just to quickly touch back on the free kick yesterday and everything.
Yeah.
To me, it might not have been the correct yards or what have you, but before all this happens, it's an awful header by Calafiori in the build up. It's a terrible header to obviously get them back in there, and then Trossard. It's like we've always said with Arsenal: one falls down, can you bail your mate out? Nope, you make it worse by giving away that free kick. And then David Raya, like I said earlier, the positioning is awful for it. So it's like you've got three chances there to sort of not let this happen, and yet we let all three. And you say there as well about this injuries. I saw so many yesterday bemoaning the injuries, and I was just like, listen, look, we had 8 of our first choice 11. If we were to name what's Arsenal's strongest 11, 8 of them were playing yesterday.
Yeah.
And they had De Ligt, Heaven, and Lindelof at one point being protected by Casemiro and Eriksen as a CDM, and we still couldn't break them down. So I'm like, don't even go there with us having injuries, because I'm like, they were barren at what they were a barren side at one there. Yeah. And it's just like we still couldn't, we could still be playing there now with no one going, and we wouldn't put the ball in the net. That cliche. So I'm like, I understand with these injuries things, but at the same point, you can't tell me injuries yesterday. They were there for the taking.
Yeah,
and
that's
like you mentioned at the start of the show. It's that same old, where you didn't play that 11 players you were up against. You played the occasion and you played the badge, and you bricked it. You bricked yourselves. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, that's the annoying thing. It felt like a defeat, for me at the end, and the fact that we didn't get beat was because of obviously. I don't know what we were doing the last 10 minutes. It was absolutely ridiculous. It seemed to me like once Partey came off, there was just nothing there in the middle. Mourinho, I don't know what he was doing with that situation where Rice, he basically saves us with that tackle. It's I don't know what it is about that place, that gets us, because the first half it was like they realised how bad United were, and they just wanted to have fun. I look at this like little pass, just make these nice, lovely little patterns, these little triangles, and then try and score a perfect goal. And it's like, no, just if you just get about it, get some shots in, and stop this nonsense. Giving it to Odegaard so he can do another floated chip over someone's head, and they've got to bring it down and all that stuff. It's just it's just all well, I'm going to say the word, but it's just too much fluff. It's just too much stuff. They weren't serious. They should have went at them right from the very off. Really put it on them, but it was just like everything was in front of United and it was safe, and it was just basically, it was almost like people were showboating. It was like, oh, we're so much better than this United side, and you could sense the United fans. They were livid. They couldn't get out. They were getting the ball. They were giving it away, and it was like this would have been a perfect moment to score a goal against them, take the lead, and then run a cricket score against them. But no, we give away two stupid mistakes, compounded by another mistake from Raya. And they go 1-0 up. I'm just at a loss for words, man, because
and it's like you've seen Onana the last couple of weeks when people have been shooting on sight at him because he's been pushing it towards the opposition players, and we did that once, and we just weren't quick enough to react to it. But again, it goes back to my whole, you're watching compilation data galore. I'm like, why don't you just once just go smack it? Just one of you, just have it, see what happens here. But yet, like you said, no, it's got to be this. All of us have got to have a touch of it. We've all got to chant "Ole" because we're stroking the ball around, and it's just like, but they're giving you the ball because they know you're doing nothing with it. You're thinking you're taking the mickey, but you're getting the mickey taken out of you. But you don't realise you're not aware enough that it's you that's the ones that are looking stupid. That's the most annoying thing.
Yeah, because even as Hente was saying, United fans were singing, "We're shit, but we're winning." That says it all, really. This is Neil was talking about what he mentioned earlier. I meant the injuries throughout the season, not about yesterday. Yesterday, our under 11s should have been to beat this Man United side. Yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't mean that Neil was complaining about it. I just was saying there was a general consensus just all over my Twitter yesterday about how that's still a good point, and we've got injury, and I was like, no, and I was like, 8 of our starting 11.
Yeah.
If we were to all name who our best 11 would be, 8 of them were playing yesterday. So I was like, I don't want to hear that. I was like, I'm not having that now. I've had it from December to now, and I'm like, I'm putting a stop to it because I'm like, we've got 8. We've got 8 of our starting 11 playing. So there's no excuse to put that kind of performance in against, like I said, the worst Man United side in 32, 33 years since the Premier League began. So
I mean, they lost to Palace, Brighton, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and even Tottenham at home this season. This United side, and it just baffles me that we've gone there like that and played like that, and just been so blasé, and just thought we're not losing this. We're too good. We're the levels. It was ridiculous. The domination we had in the first half. It's just like just put it on them. Just have a couple of shots. Just trying to look for this perfect goal and going from side to side again. And it all boils down to coaching, mate. I mean, it's all well and good. Saying we've had problems with injuries, but we've got eight of our players out there who would start. You've got Martinelli obviously coming off the bench, but for me to be 2 years in and still having the same issue of trying to get around a low block. I mean, I don't know about Mikel's parents, but I don't think they gave him a Game Boy when he was younger, because when he probably played Tetris, he came, fell apart, didn't he? With the low blocks and everything. When they came flying down, he just crumbled, and that's what he doesn't know how to get past the levels. Because for me, to be 2 years in and not have a way around it, and then to say, "Oh, we'll focus on the set pieces," that's not sustainable, man. That's not how a big club's supposed to operate, and you have to get a different profile. For me, I think I've said in the chat as well, ideally in this situation, on the left, could be on the left 8 or the right 8, you need someone, or the 10, if you change the formation, you need someone who's going to be like a ball carrier, a technical ball carrier who can actually commit and beat players, or thread a ball through, like Jack Wilshere used to do, like Rosicky used to do, like Santi Cazorla used to do. He's played with these players, so I don't understand why he's not realizing, this is what I need to unlock this. with all the knowledge he's got and how clever he is and how he likes to galaxy brain everything, and and he's probably going to play Calafiori up front at some point, just to show that, look how great I am. And that must be the way. That must be the way round it, and he's not doing it. And that's another thing as well, which you've mentioned. How many players has he bought who, obviously not including Raya, but how many players has he bought that have actually played in their specialist position from their other previous club?
Well, you talk about the Tetris thing. He's got the pieces, mate. He just spins them around the wrong way. He just doesn't put them. He just doesn't put them in correctly. That's what I feel. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, he does like Arsene Wenger, but all of his greatness, there were his flaws. And one of the biggest ones that I always thought for Wenger was when he departed from the style of what was our 2001, 2002 double team, and then our invincible team, into becoming obsessed with this Barcelona, watching Pep. And it was like, okay, I'm going to remove all my men and I'm just going to go for small, intricate, tippy-tappy players. And it's just like, yeah, that works in Spain, mate, because everyone else they play in Spain are small, intricate, tippy-tappy players. They're not hard. You're not getting a Ryan Shawcross that's going to kick and snap someone's leg in half over at Granada or, Al Cadiz or whatever they're called. It's just not going to happen. So that to me, Arteta's become obsessed with maybe not even just stature, but all this duel winning and everything else. I mean, the guy that he bought in Moreno, who's this ultra strong duel winner, won 4 out of 19 yesterday. So that's the thing the thing you bought him for. He didn't even win half.
Yeah, and he's getting done by Casemiro as well. Which led to that chance. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he's like got all these massive 6 foot plus guys, and just sucked all the creativity out of it. The little nimble sort of guys that can just open teams up, and and maybe that's probably what. Yeah, sorry, my internet's played up again. Just to think that he would have been the one to come in and unlock, and to put the pressure on him. So I think he made the right decision. But it's just frustrating for me that we've kind of seen this story so many times already, and we're probably going to see it a couple more times again. But I think by then it'll be done. Liverpool would have won the league in 3 or 4 games time, and then sealed it, I should say. And then it's just going to be painfully just seeing out the rest of the season and seeing if we actually finish second. I don't think we will at this rate. I've got a feeling City are going to. I think Forest will maybe drop off a little bit and finish 4th. We'll probably end up finishing 3rd, and I think City will probably nick second, and then that will just compound it even more to say they've been awful all season, and they still finish above us. Because that's one last thing I'll ask you, James. Psychologically, as you mentioned before, being up against this Man City side, how powerful they've been over the last couple of seasons, treble winners, 4 in a row that last year, and you can kind of say, okay, we're up against this financially doped up, super team, and then you lose, they fall off, and then you think, okay, this is our turn, and it's not our turn. And then we end up getting overtaken by a Liverpool team who finished 8 points ahead of last year, I think it was, and who we finished above 3 seasons in a row. Well, 2 to 3 seasons in succession, and for it to be it could be a record amount of points, I think, or close to a record amount of points between first and second. Psychologically, what do you think that does to those players? Do you think it gives them motivation to come back and prove a point, to say, okay, let's get everyone back, let's get the acquisitions in, let's get everyone fit, and let's show everyone? Or do you think they're thinking, I don't think we can do it under this guy, as he broken them?
It's an amazing question, because I think you're going to get both. I think you may have a section of that player core that feel, they won't say it publicly, but I think they might privately think, I don't know if this guy's going to be able to get me over the line. And you'll
Yeah.
have others that will take that as a massive, massive
Yeah.
kick up the arse. And like you said earlier in the show, and I do agree with you, the appointment and the fact that Arteta's contract is up next 27, isn't it? So it's not
Yeah.
this. It's,
2027. Yep. Yep.
so I think, like the Netflix documentaries called, like The Last Dance. I do believe this is going to be our, this will be Mikel Arteta's last dance next season.
Yeah.
So he will be backed again, definitely. That's a
Yeah.
given,
Yeah.
because where we didn't spend in January, we can't be penny pinching and everything. Like we've
Yeah.
all mentioned time and time again. By the time that Spurs game in Singapore kicks off, you need your new starting 9 and your new starting number 6 in that squad.
Yeah.
In
100%.
and maybe not even playing, because even though it's pre-season, that they're going to fly into challenges against us in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
We'll do the same. So maybe don't play them right away. Maybe play some different ones. But at the same point, there's no club. We're not in this Club World Cup rubbish. There's no Euros. There's no World Cup. So none of them can hide, because
Yeah.
this isn't
100%.
just exclusively on Arteta. I know that I've given Arteta quite a lot in this show. It's not all exclusively on him. I know that. But at the same point, none of them can go hiding next season. And I'll tell you what as well, they'll chuck him under the bus to protect their own back.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They really will. So, because they copped a lot of it for that Super League stuff, and they know we can't. We don't want that smoke again from these Arsenal fans. So, yeah. So, but I think hate's a hell of a motivator, Mike. I don't know if they'll hate Liverpool for it, but it definitely. I think it would definitely kick a few of them up the backside. Yeah, and I think they'll want to come out swinging, because we're sat here as fans thinking it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
God knows what it'd be like if I'm playing it every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
everyone
it crushed me watching it, so God knows how they feel.
Yeah, to know that everyone has basically said, if City fall off, it's Arsenal going to be there, and we're not, and how it's been managed and everything else. I know Steve said, injuries to front line, which is a killer of the manager, and club didn't address that. Yes, and the Liverpool also drew United at home as well. Yeah. But yeah, there's all the stats show, the goals, expected goals, whatever you want to look at in terms of them and us.
Do you believe we're going to finish lower than second now? Then
possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I think we could finish third.
Christ.
I think we could finish third.
If he regresses in a place, then I think that will really set more people off.
I think we've got some tricky games to navigate, to be honest. And especially if we've got the Champions League, and I think he's going to want to make sure he puts all these eggs into that. Especially whoever it is, he's not going to want to go there and get embarrassed. So I think he's going to try and he's going to rotate as much as he can.
Got to pray for PSG, haven't you? Because if obviously we go through the run after that, you got the potential two-legger against Liverpool, haven't you? And to play Liverpool 3 times before the end of the season.
Yeah, and then go to Anfield again for a guard of honor.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I can't have that.
But
I'd do my head in.
But you look at some of these games, and you can't. I mean, I can't really say any of them that I can say with heart, hand on heart to say, we've got that. We've got 3 points there.
Yeah, very true.
You look at that. You probably, not even Ipswich away, because I think they really gave us a tough one when we played them. We only beat them 1-0. And they'll probably be almost down then. But the only one is probably going to be Southampton, which everything will be all done. But I can't see any game there of that running to say comfortably that we should be. Palace are one of the form sides in Europe at the moment. All of a sudden, they've been atrocious for half the season. So I can see it, mate. I can see us slipping down, and again, I just think that compounds it, and it just makes it even more of what the actual season it's been, and everything else has just been compounded, and the injuries, the suspensions, the way we've been reffed, the squad management, the summer window, the January window, everything you can think of, it's just been put into a pot and it's just been served up, and it's absolutely horrible. And on top of that, you've got Liverpool doing what they're doing, and Salah having the best season in Premier League history in records since records began in it to help push them over the line. The only saving thing you could say is thank you Nottingham Forest for actually beating them, because you probably be looking at them flipping doing an invincible season, so everything you could wish for in a horrible season has pretty much happened. But yeah, let's see how we go Wednesday. I don't think we can even us can cock that up and get beat 6-0 and get knocked out. But yeah, I just think he's gonna Arteta's going to want to show everyone how good he is as a coach. Whoever we play, because he's going to be up against Ancelotti or he's going to be up against Simeone, and he's going to want to galaxy brain it. He's going to do something crazy, do something just to show, oh, look at me, and I think that's what he's going to put all his eggs into that. And then even if we get through that somehow, we've got Villa or Liverpool, and we know how hard that's going to be. But anyway, James, thank you so much for your time, mate. Really appreciate it. I just got one last one from Steve. Also think we can excuse the season. City have had a bad season and they are the champions. They've had the excuses. Yeah, but I just think City, with what they've achieved, you can kind of say that they kind of due a down season. People were, come on, let's be honest. People have been saying they expected them to have a down season over the last couple of seasons, and they haven't. So fair play to them for what they've done. I'd love to have a down season after what they've done. Jesus, like 4 in a row and a treble. And people, I don't think it's cut and dry that they're going to be back though next season the way they have been. I think they'll improve a little bit, but I don't think they're going to be the City of old. But we see. But anyway, let's focus on us and see what we do. Thanks, Neil. Great show. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, NT and Stephen in the chat. Really appreciate it. Yeah, great to see NT and Steve in the chat. Yeah, we'll be back. What we got? So we've got Chelsea, haven't we? So let's see what happens there, and whether we'll come out from the sofa and maybe talk about that, and hopefully we'll have can hold our heads up high after that, and just try and finish off the season as strong as we can, and that's all we can hope for now. Thanks, James. Obviously, you can catch James on his brilliant football channel, James Johnstone football channel. I've been on there a couple of times. Really love going on there. Obviously, you get Neil on there as well, and Melvin, and other guests as well. And yeah, look forward to appearing on there again, mate. When you send the invite, I really appreciate that.
Yes, hopefully under better circumstances. I know we haven't got much. Maybe after we beat, when he does the Henri at the Burnabout, we'll get you on for that one.
Oh, mate, don't say stuff like that. And yeah, thanks for everyone for the support. Really appreciate it. And you can obviously catch us on Spotify and Acast and everything else. We haven't really got that.
Send me your schedule, Stephen. I've seen this comment. Send me your schedule. I'll get you on.
James never had me on the show. Oh yeah. There you go. You can jump on that. There you go. Networking, mate. That's how it's done.
Come on in. We'll get you on. On.
But yeah, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Let's hope we can finish the season in a strong way and create some memories. If we do go out in the Champions League, just go out on a shield, and that's all we can ask for, really. And then just try and build from there. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, he's always available. Yeah. His kids are growing up, so he's got more time in his hands. Not unlike me. I've just got to make sure they're out the way and either quiet or asleep or both before I can do anything. So yeah. So I appreciate that. Thanks, James. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
love having you on. And thanks everyone for watching. And we'll be back sometime soon. All right. Come on, you guys.